Namo Buddhaya to all of you. We're out here with the future novice, Devan. And the last video that we did the other day at the pier was a beautiful scene, but it got cut off at 60 seconds. So today we're at the beach. We're live now on YouTube giving instructions. So I just wanted to cycle. Actually, we're going to do mindfulness of the body, but we're also going to use the crashing waves of the ocean as the object of meditation. Okay. So at this point, take off you can stick the glasses in the back if you want. Usually clip it in the back. We're not getting any younger. Right over left with the two thumbs barely touching each other. Bring it in. There you go. Back straight. Shoulders relaxed. Back always has to be straight because by and through your posture, it reminds your mind to be alert and vigilance, right? Because some people, it's so funny, a lot of novices overseas, you see this a lot. Like, okay, so basically their body is erected, but they start to fall asleep, but then the spine will let the brain knows, hey, someone's falling asleep, and then they snap out of it. But it's so funny to watch them like a drunk tree, like a drunk palm tree. So the posture is very important. This is basics into insight meditation, which is the last thing that you will, which I'm teaching you kind of advanced level already, intermediate advanced level already. Mindfulness of the body. So say Gaya Nupasana. Gaya means body, and Nupasana means mindfulness of the body. Okay, Gaya Nupasana. So the back, right? So you always have to, no matter what we're doing, you always have to remind yourself, what is my posture doing? You have to know when you're leaning left. You have to know when you're leaning right. You have to know when your back, it looks like hunchback. You have to know when your shoulders is tight. You have to know when your muscles are tense. Noting. The key in meditation is noting. Taking note that I'm breathing hard, I'm breathing slow, I'm sluggish, I'm this, I'm that. It's a constant interactive thing. You're never like not vigilant. Okay? So back straight, shoulders relaxed. Taking your first 3 deep breaths through your nostrils. On your exhale, you can exhale out your mouth or your nostrils. After our 3rd breath, we will now be in full concentration of our body, aware of the crashing waves in front of us. Breathing in, we know we're breathing in. Breathing out, you know you're breathing out. As you breathe, you also observe the rising of the abdomen. Breathing in, the abdomen inflates. Breathing out, your abdomen deflates like a balloon. Breathing in, there is dukkha. Breathing in, there is suffering. Breathing in, you realize suffering. Breathing in, you realize that I'm breathing in air and I'm holding the air until I exhale. Breathing out, you are relieved. Reminding ourselves of our posture. If our back is not straight, let's recorrect our back. Bring a small smile to your face. Meditators are happy people. Let us take 3 more deep breaths. Breathing in, you observe your abdomen rising, rising, rising. Breathing out, your abdomen is falling, falling, falling. Slowly we relax our concentration. Let's take 2 more deep breaths and we come to an end. Slowly you can arise from your meditation. Slowly you can open your eyes back to the ocean in front of us. Any questions, huh? Is that peaceful? You know, for the first, so 9 years I've been a monk, but for the first like almost 6 years, this was where I sat out here to meditate and make videos for years by myself, to myself, by myself. Sometimes with students, but it's a rare thing. This is like my sacred space, you know? But I gotta be around the ocean to be at peace. And basically, every time when I come out here and I fire these things up, I fire up the social media, is so that other people who are sitting at home, they can meditate with me. And that's how I inspire people to, you know, whatever you're doing at home, stop. Whatever you're doing in your life, kind of stop if you can, and sit and meditate, you know, for 6-7 years. A person should master this within 6 years, like the Buddha. Let's just set a timeline. Be like, look, if the Buddha can become enlightened in 6 years, I should too. sure you don't have any questions? Awfully quiet for a 15-year-old.
I already asked you everything. That's fine. How do you become enlightened?
Simple. There's two definitions to enlightenment, which is nibbana. Nibbana is the extinguishment of greed, anger, and ignorance of the Four Noble Truths. Extinguishment. So letting go of greed, anger, and ignorance. Okay. The other definition, which is easier to attain, is to be in the present moment of knowing what you're doing. And if you're not thinking about the past or the future, you're enlightened right now in that moment. That was the video that I got famous on TikTok because of that video when I used the gaming. Remember I told you that? When I said the only time you're fully enlightened is when you're playing video games. And the kids got it because you know how hard it is to relate to kids, and they understood. Now think about it, right? Or for adults, the only time that they're actually fully enlightened is when they're in love. Because they're like, the person's right there. So when they sneeze wrong, you're like, oh my God, that is the cutest thing I've ever heard. You know? You're like fully in the present moment. And that's how you achieve enlightenment. So the long route is, number one, don't be ignorant of the Four Noble Truths. You remember the Four Noble Truths? Number one, there's suffering in life. Number two, there's suffering in life because you desire. Number three, if you don't want life to suck, stop wanting stuff. And number four, the path to liberation. So the path to Nibbana is by following the Noble Eightfold Path. Right view, right thought, right action, right intention, right livelihood, right speech, right mindfulness, right effort. It has to follow within the Eight Noble Paths. You can't just make up your own right. You know what I mean? Right. So a lot of people think that it's too hard to achieve enlightenment. But then you have people like me that says it's easy because I've done the work. When I was your age, younger, 1 year younger than you, when I was 14, I meditated exactly the Buddha technique. You're getting teachings, cool teachings. I didn't get cool teachings like this. I got the most boring, driest teaching the world has ever seen from a very grumpy old teacher. Like you look at this man's face and you just want to like die. Yeah, because he was so strict. And when we learned Pali, you know, he was like, Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. And then he would be like, he would like, Samma sambut, tassa, Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambut tassa. He would literally correct us like that, and I would be like, oh my God, you know. I literally was just like, oh, and then I mean, if I wanted enlightenment, you would sit there, you would do it. If people wanted enlightenment, they would sit there, they would do it. There's no if buts around it. That's it. And I find that he was an awesome teacher. Panati pata veramani sikha. He would, you know, correct us like that. He had his OCD moments with words. And in 2017, I got a taste of Nibbana when I was in indoors, air conditioning environment, and I took my deep breaths, and I went, you see, up in the sky, just imagine when everything is all dark, they're like little stars. That's what I saw. I was like immersed into space, but I knew I was there. The one thing about a taste of nirvana is you know that you're there. You know what you're doing, one which knows. So a Buddha is one which knows. Okay? Anyone that asks you, what is a Buddha? You simply reply, a Buddha is one which knows. So when you're washing the dishes and you know that you're washing the dishes, in that moment you're a Buddha, because a Buddha is one which knows. And one which knows is one who is enlightened. Or at least in that moment. Okay? At peace. And so I call that the heavenly time. And I was there for 20 heavenly minutes. But in real life, in chronological, biological time, whatever you want to call it, it was 4 hours. And when I was there, back straight, shoulders relaxed, I couldn't feel my body anymore. I was literally in complete space and at peace. I was so much at peace that I was like, wow, this is like heaven. I was looking around, I'm like, which stars, and it was a black environment, but I'm like, I like it. I can mess with this. I just wanted to float there for like a good minute. I didn't want to come back. So when my consciousness came back and I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe I'm back. And then I started feeling the body again, the gravity of the body and the suffering of the body, the dukkha of the kaya. Okay? Namarupa. Oh man, I was like, oh. And I never achieved it again. I never went to that place again. But now that I have conditioned my meditation to as such, that when I am meditating, today I won't be answering questions, or at least not yet, because I'm trying to give a teaching to this wonderful 15-year-old future novice in the forthcoming weeks. But when you're in meditation mode, you should be so in the moment that nothing appears from the past or future worries. But it's kind of hard at your age because you're always thinking about homework, you know? So that's why we keep the precept, so that we don't so we don't create drama. Because if, like, let's say you're breaking up with someone right now, and they're thinking about you and you're thinking about them, then when you meditate, that's what is going to be making up most of the time in your mind. Yeah. So when we become meditators, we're becoming yogis. Yogis are meditators, okay? So we try to clear all the drama in our life so that we can just enjoy peace like this. Probably. They're quite adventurous, right? Throwing a pole into the beach at night because, you know, they feed at night. All the bigger fish feed at night. See, that's when they want to get out of the water, but they're still in the water.
Pretty sure would you? Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I've met so many people out here. Oh, by the way, I want to share with you this story while we're out here. There was an 80-year-old woman out here that came up to me, and she says, Venerable, I want to learn meditation. I said, why? She says, because I want to taste peace before I die. So for 80 years of her life, she never tasted peace. And for 60 years of her life, she hung on to anger. So you imagine waking up angry for 60 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's rough.
I wake up angry.
That's rough.
Every other day.
Don't be like some of these 80-year-olds, I'm telling you. You know, I had a firm resolve at a young age. 40, I was your age when I wanted this peace. And every day, you know, because, you know, I could have drove back. The law says you could drive at 14 back in the day. Every day for 30 minutes, I went at the monastery. Now you got to see the ocean. I was like, don't have money. Don't have gas money to go to the ocean. Okay.
No.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm pretty sure that when you pray or do some chant in Pali, I think is that we pronounce everything different.
Yeah. That's why when people chant, like even in Laos when they chant, and I pick up like the lines that I know, and then I just remain noble silence. I just enjoy it. Instead of participating, and they add Laos into Pali, I just enjoy it. I'm just like, I'm here to learn something new. Yeah. Let me make this TikTok video here real quick. For those who are live, you're gonna observe me making TikTok videos. Oh, okay. You ready? All right. 3, 2. Oop. There we go. Okay, Namo Buddhaya to all of you. I'm out here with our future novice, Devon. This year, I am lacking a lot of assistant to the venerables because they're all grown now. And this year, most notably, we have novice Ethan and then now novice Devon into the middle of the year. I like to have Devon help me scan a lot of the handwritten notes, particularly the journals and the academic notes. Okay, so it's in a steno notepad. So a steno notepad is like not big. It's literally carrying size like this, right? And Devon has to put that into the scanning machine, which takes a lot of time, into the Brother system, the Brother brand, 2540s, 2570s, 2370s series scanning machine. So everyone knows that over the past, Lord knows how many years, 7 years, 8 years, that I give jobs to students, high school students, to help and become assistant to the venerable. And so I am trying to raise fundings to give jobs as part of the legacy project for them to scan these. And the other thing that I have discussed with Devon in the car, and this is the very first time the world gets to hear it, is that for those who have contributed, please send me your email and information. And for future donors, you all will be getting a copy of those academic notes PDF. And likewise, some of the materials that I'm trying to gather so that I can put it in a book. The question becomes for all of you is like, well, we discovered this monk named Ajahn Chidao. And you know, he practiced in a certain way. He taught in a certain way. He inspired millions of people. How did he do it? There's a way to do it. So I'm compiling the evidence in the past 23 years of that doing so that you all can read and investigate and track the timeline and chronological and methodology that I have left for all of you so that you can replicate. If I am a scientist, we'll say that we are, and I have a hypothesis, which is I want to achieve peace, and I achieve that peace by and through testing out the methods of the Buddha, okay? And then I'm documenting it, then you all want to replicate the same. So that's called a legacy project. The fact that I'm composing all of the handwritten notes and everything together for you all to read and review. And so, you know, so there's a lot of books that's coming out. In my mind, I have ideas to compile that, the handwritten notes of Ajahn Chidao. That would be one of them, okay? But for the donors, I feel, obviously you see that I'm not in it for the money. It's about education, it's about raising funding for additional programs and spreading the teachings and expanding Buddhism. So therefore, I don't hold any significance in regards to giving away prematurely the release of such books down the road. So, you know, and it's giving more and taking less anyways. I mean, it's the least I can do. And it's easy and fast because once we scan it and organize it and ready, then we can just shoot it to you in the email and you can literally digitally look at handwritten notes like that big on your screen. How awesome is that? I think that's so cool to be able to analyze an active living teacher's handwriting and to reconstruct his life and to replicate how he has lived his life, his holy life, how he documents his thoughts, speech, mind for the benefit of other people. So today's video is on raising funding for students to have jobs. They have 1 more month or 1.5 months left of summer break. So I like to give them jobs, paid jobs. And so that they can help me. I need to go back to the West very soon. There are talks and discussions about making me either vice abbot or full abbot, but I'm pretty sure the vice abbot would come first. It's quite scary to accept such position quickly. And so therefore I like to conclude the scanning so that I can free up my mind. I got this thing where if I'm on another project and pending projects are back at home, I can't fully focus 100% on what needs to be done while I'm over there. And so I wanted to, there's things that needs to be done for the benefit of humanity and the contribution towards education. Any good monk, like we've seen in the past, like Banteji, Bhikkhu Bodhi, Venerable Nyanamoli, have written books, and as a direct result of them writing these books, we're able to sit at the comfort of our home and within our own time to review it, to own it, to see it, to be reminded of it. And I just wanted to do my part as a millennial monk to now transmit such teachings and to pass on the gift of knowledge, the gift that excel any other gifts in the world. So I'm jubilant to announce that. And please visit my link tree to support the summer program for novices and other students. It goes towards the teen suicide program, the novice programs, and now the legacy project. So I can't wait. This year has been a record year of donations already, particularly in the last two months. So it's jubilant and happy times for me. And what I hold so significant about it is that we're in economic hard times, and yet people still see the light of day to give as much as they can, to give more and take less. And if you're not meditating and if you're not keeping the precepts, well, guess what? The least you could do is give more and take less. A privilege to know and a duty to act. And part of the three poisons in Buddhism is greed, anger, and ignorance. Well, let's look at the greed. If we're greedy or have excessive desires, one way to mitigate that is to give whatever you can. And when you have nothing to give at all, dedicate your body, speech, and mind for the benefit of other people, like holding the door, volunteer work at hospitals or nonprofit organizations. It is not my requirement that it has to be monetary or material gifts, but fall under the Theravadan guidelines of dedicating body, speech, and mind for the benefit of other people. So it's getting dark. Monks are not allowed out when the sun starts to set, pursuant to our 227 rules and in accordance with training in a pre-novice activity. So may you all be well, be happy, be free, and always be healthy until the very next time. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. All right, so that's done on TikTok. So this is good, but only reserve 20% for chanting and 80% of studying the Four Noble Truths. You know why? That's how they know you're a real Buddhist or not. Imagine a white person or any other person coming up to you, white, black, Chinese, Puerto Rican, whatever, and they ask you about the Four Noble Truths, and you're like, I have no idea what that is. That would be an embarrassment to the Theravadan order. That would be an embarrassment to any monkhood, to any monks, period. Because the teachings of the Buddha is compressed into the Four Noble Truths. And even that's the first thing that novice Ethan learned. Like 30 minutes into his ordination, I says, Ethan, remember these four things. Number one, life sucks. Number two, life sucks because people want stuff. Number three, if you don't want life to suck, stop wanting stuff. And number four, the path to liberation is by following no wayful path. But I waived that requirement because that's too much for him to think about as a 13-year-old. So I told him to just, think about the first three. Then, to my surprise, he took those three things and applied it in school and told his friends that because his friends was wigging out over some girl. So that right there, I've already done my job. I can literally retire. You know what I mean? So when when you're under my guidance and training, you have to know the Four Noble Truths. And if you want to impress other abbots and other monks, that's the first thing that they tested me when I went to Laos. The abbot was like, Venerable Chida, and it was all of a sudden out of nowhere. He goes, Venerable Chida, what is the Four Noble Truths? And literally took the phone live and shoved it in my face. And I was like, oh, that's easy. I do this all the time. But he doesn't know that. He didn't even know I had 1 million followers. He doesn't know that much about me. But he just wanted to see where I was at with it. You know what I mean? So that is the significance of knowing very effectively the Four Noble Truths. Any questions? Are you sure? No question because we're live, or no question because there's no question?
No question because there's no question.
Okay. Thank you for joining us live on YouTube. Gotta go, folks. Getting dark.